Edward Karua is with the General Agricultural Workers Union and he joins us on this issue. Mr. Karua, good morning and thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, good morning to you too.
Now, does this announcement come as good news to you, that government intends to encourage local production?
Well, it ought to be good news, but it is not good news.
And why is that?
Because we will not respond based on words. We would like to respond based on action. So at this stage, it's just words. And unfortunately, let me say that we have heard so much in the past about how we want to industrialize our country, how we are supporting agriculture, how we are increasing manufacturing, building one district, one factory, and all that. So it makes it not good news until we see real action on the ground.
And Mr. Karua, what is that real action that you'd like to see?
Well, we've seen that if you look at our trade policies today, vis-a-vis our agricultural production and manufacturing, because you need to look at this tripod. Because agriculture will produce to feed the industry, and then imports have an impact on agriculture as well as manufacturing. If you look at it, look, these are, I'm also surprised that, is it, how did we wake up to now realize that what we are doing is injurious to agriculture and is injurious to manufacturing? We have consistently insisted and implemented, for instance, the discounted benchmark value, whereby importers are virtually, imports are virtually subsidized because they are paid to pay the full duty that the tariffs that they have to pay on it. This has been on, and when it was suspended, His Excellency directed it to be restored. You know, again, the imports that we make are those that are injuring the agricultural sector. For instance, we've had the case of the La Bianca, where they import large quantities of poultry products. What we are told is that they have some exemptions, and there was a problem with the exemptions and so on. Why will you even give exemptions to a company to import poultry products, and when your poultry industry is collapsing?
Yeah.
So all these policies are collapsing the agricultural sector. We wanted him to have said that, look, one, exemptions are going to go off on all agricultural products that are being imported, that we are also probably going to raise, tariffs on A, B, C, D products that we think that are hurting our agricultural production. But I'm sorry, these statements are general, and this is not the time to come with general statements. This is the time to come with, very tangible, targeted, actions.
Yeah.
Actions-oriented statement, and we can see it happening tomorrow. We can see it happening next month. If anything short of that will not excite we in agriculture, it will not excite the Ghanaians, because we don't know how it is going to be implemented and when it is even going to be implemented.
All right, so let's talk about, you mentioned something about policies. Let's talk about the Planting for Food and Jobs. Has it helped so far?
You see, the Planting for Food and Jobs is, as we sit now, does not exist, in my view. Because whether there's Planting for Food or Jobs program or not, there will still be agricultural production in this country. So it's not because of Planting for Food and Jobs that what we are producing today, we are producing. The Planting for Food and Jobs was to make a difference to what we are already producing if there's no Planting for Food and Jobs. And what is that difference? We are not realizing it. The difference of making sure that we have food, it's not the case. The difference making sure that, look, we spend less in importing fertilizer. It's not there. The difference in making sure that the general cost of production of agricultural produce comes down, it's not there. The difference that there's now ready market for agricultural produce, because the Plan for Food and Jobs are supposed to address all these things. And if it fails to address them, it does not exist. So we just need to accept that it has reached its end, it doesn't exist, and we need, if we want another phase of Plan for Food and Jobs program, we can be thinking about it, but we should not still be having the illusion that a Plan for Food and Jobs program exists. It does not exist.
So, Mr. You tell me that, okay, we need solutions that can be implemented today or tomorrow. If you can give me two of those solutions, what would they be? Something that we can implement today or tomorrow, something that we can see, in the future, in the near future.
Well, we would like government to come out clearly and say that, look, I am voting this amount of money into agriculture, and that I've put in place this type of measures to ensure that every pesewa, every penny, every cedi that is voted is properly utilized. I am saying this because it's not enough for government to even tell us that, look, I'm voting this money, and when that money in the form of inputs will be allowed to be smuggled out, like the case of the subsidized fertilizer, which government is told us that much of it was smuggled outside the country. So if government, and then the next thing is that we don't want government to join us to complain. No, they shouldn't complain when we are complaining. They should give us concrete measures of addressing our complaints. That also gives hope to us that, yes, government is working. But when government joins, oh, we appreciate your challenges, we know it is this, it doesn't help. If you do that and you leave it from that end, then, of course, it means nothing to us.
So now we're talking to the consumers, right? And there are a lot of conversations happening that, okay, so the president says that we must stop importing, right? But now the problem is that the made in Ghana goods are more expensive, So if you look at rice, for example, made in Ghana rice or the local rice is more expensive than imported one. Can we just would you like to touch on that?
Well, import itself is meant to supplement local production. And then import itself is a tool for development. How we manage our imports could either collapse your local production or promote your local production. And unfortunately, so far, what we have done with our imports is collapsing local production. So when people are suggesting that deal with the imports, they want you to deal with the imports in a manner that will promote local production. Like the example I've given, how do you give exemptions to a company that imports poultry products into the country? Even to allow them to import at the normal rate into the country, itself could be injurious. How much more now giving that exemption? Meanwhile, you don't have money to support your local producers. Meanwhile, you don't create market for your local producers. So you allow them to be pushed out of their domestic market by promoting cheap imports into the country. The discounted benchmark value is a clear example. Look, there are so many, you cannot even count the number of different brands of vegetable oils that are in this country. Meanwhile, if we take the total production of vegetable oil in this country, it falls short of the total demand that we have. So what it means is that we should be increasing domestic vegetable oil production to meet the domestic demand. But what we are rather experiencing is that you have promoted poor, unhealthy vegetable oils at very cheap price, which now comes to drive away the quality local produced vegetable oils in the name of liberalization, of the economy. And truth must be said. When we talk about the government, as if the government is on one hand and businesses is also on another hand. No, the government officials themselves are involved in the importation of these products. Their companies are involved. So it is no more like those in public office, they are supposed to implement policies that the business people are doing the wrong thing. They are the one and the same thing now. And that's where they are finding it very difficult to constrain the imports, because it defies common sense that non-essential imports will be allowed into this country and you subsidize them. It's just, it's unimaginable. It's baffling. But they are doing it. Why are they doing that? Probably because they have interest in it. Otherwise, it doesn't make common sense to do so. Yeah. And this is our situation. So what we want the president to do, to reverse the policies that he has implemented, which have brought us to this point. This is what we want to hear. But even if you come and say that you're going to promote domestic production, and yet your other policies, trade policies, are countervailing or are undermining what you do at the production level, it means nothing. We will still end up not having a different situation. So we want to see him reverse them. I don't know how long it will take to make a reversal of some of these exemptions. Exemptions cannot be forever. We have a country to run. He has got all the powers. Get up and say, look, when it comes to these particular exemptions, they were in existence. They are no more in existence. Then the people know that the power that we have vested in you, the resources that we have vested in the president, then he's using it to our advantage. But we are not seeing him using those powers to our advantage. We are seeing him using the powers to rather undermine local production. And we are those who are most suffering for the local, for all this, impact of these policies.
Mr. Karewe, last night's address by the president to the nation, did it give you any hope?
Come again.
The president's address, did it give you any hope?
No, certainly no. I have not seen any hope from it. Because, you see, one of them was to say that we'll clamp down, Bank of Ghana said we'll clamp down on black market, forex exchange dealers, and so on. Look, I'm telling you, just walk around. Look, get to airport bus stop.
Yeah.
You see, these are not even Ghanaians, they are foreigners. Come and they are standing in front there. And the police station is just there. The police walk around there. They don't do anything. So you see, if you now come and tell us that you are going to clamp down, I don't know what they are doing. Look, if he must put his office in order. When I say his office, is to say that he has control over these institutions that are supposed to implement certain laws in this country. He should get them to do that. He should get them to do that. We don't even want to hear him talk. We want to see changes. Simple. Look, the whole hope on IMF is I don't know why we don't learn lessons. 16 times we have gone there, IMF has not solved our problem. The 15th time, we are now dependent on them. We were dependent on e-levy. That when e-levy comes, every solution, every problem that we have will be solved. Where is the e-levy? We should all be bracing ourselves for further challenges, because government outlook is wrong. Government thinking is wrong. Because if you put your hopes on IMF, forget it. IMF is never there to solve all your problems. IMF is not going to solve your galamsey problems. IMF is not going to solve the poor roads your farm gates. IMF is not going to come and then it will reduce the cost of production at the farm gates. IMF is not going to solve the indiscipline and the corruption and the rest. The ineptitude. So, for me, I don't have hope in it, because where they are looking for the solutions, they are not solutions.
Mr. Karewe, thank you so much for your time, and that is the General Secretary of the General Agricultural Workers Union, and he says that he needs more solutions, or the president should provide solutions that can be implemented in the now, and that some of the policies that the president has given are collapsing the sector.